The rain hammered against the restaurant's windows as Sarah pressed her face closer to the glass, watching the elegant diners inside, her stomach cramped with hunger. A familiar companion that had been with her for 3 days now. The cardboard beneath her feet was soaked through, offering little protection from the cold concrete of the alley behind Romano's, one of the city's most exclusive establishments. She had been living on the streets for 6 months now, ever since the medical bills from her mother's cancer treatment had consumed everything: their home, their savings, their dignity. At 19, Sarah had traded her college dreams for this harsh reality, but she refused to let despair consume her completely. Every morning, she reminded herself that this was temporary, that somehow she would find her way back. The back door of the restaurant swung open, and a waiter emerged with bags of leftovers, destined for the dumpster. Sarah's heart raced. This was her chance. She approached cautiously, her voice barely above a whisper as years of pride battled with desperate need. Excuse me, she called softly, then louder when he didn't hear. Sir, may I have your leftovers, sir? The waiter, a young man about her age, looked startled. His eyes swept over her torn jeans, the threadbare coat that had once belonged to her mother, and the hope mixed with shame in her expression. Without a word, he handed her the bags and quickly retreated inside, leaving Sarah alone with her unexpected fortune. She was sorting through the containers when she heard footsteps behind her. Panic shot through her. Restaurant owners didn't usually appreciate people going through their garbage, even when given permission. She turned, expecting to be chased away, but instead found herself looking up at a man in an expensive suit. He was older, perhaps in his 50s, with silver threading through his dark hair and the kind of confidence that money provides. But it wasn't his obvious wealth that made her freeze, it was the way he was looking at her, not with the disgust or pity she had grown accustomed to, but with something that looked almost like recognition. I'm sorry, she stammered, clutching the food bags protectively. The waiter said I wasn't stealing, I promise. I just asked for the leftovers. The man held up a hand, his expression unreadable. What's your name? The question caught her off guard. Most people looked through her as if she were invisible. Sarah, she replied hesitantly. Sarah. Chen. Something shifted in his face, a subtle change that she couldn't quite identify. How old are you? Sarah. 19. She wondered why she was answering his questions instead of running. There was something about his demeanor that didn't feel threatening, despite the circumstances. And how long have you been? He gestured vaguely at her situation. 6 months. The admission came out more defensively than she intended. But it's temporary. I'm going to get back on my feet. I just need time. He finished quietly. You just need time. Sarah nodded, surprised by his understanding. Most people seemed to think homelessness was a choice, a moral failing rather than a cascade of circumstances beyond one's control. The man was quiet for a long moment, studying her face with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. Finally, he spoke. My name is David Morrison. I own several businesses in the city, including this restaurant. Sarah's heart sank. She had been caught by the owner himself. I'm sorry, Mr. Morrison. I'll leave. I won't come back. No, he said quickly. That's not. He paused, running a hand through his hair. Sarah, this might sound strange, but you remind me of someone I used to know. Someone very important to me. The way he said it made Sarah think of loss, of grief carefully tucked away but never fully healed. She recognized the tone, because she carried it herself, wrapped around the memory of her mother. 23 years ago. David continued, his voice growing distant. I had a daughter. Her name was Emma, and she had your exact eyes, that same shade of green, with the little flecks of gold. She would have been about your age now. The past tense wasn't lost on Sarah. What happened to her? She died when she was 2. Leukemia. The words came out flat, worn smooth by years of repetition. My wife couldn't handle the grief. She left 6 months later. I threw myself into work, built an empire, thinking success could fill the hole Emma left behind. Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. She understood loss. understood how it could reshape a person's entire existence. I'm sorry. David looked at her again, and this time she saw the full weight of his pain. For 21 years, I've wondered what she would have looked like, what kind of person she would have become. And then I see you, fighting to survive with dignity intact, and I think this could have been her. The silence stretched between them, filled with the sound of rain and distant traffic. Sarah didn't know what to say to such raw honesty from a stranger. I have a proposition for you, David said finally. I can't bring Emma back, and I can't change your circumstances overnight, but I can offer you a chance. There's an apartment above the restaurant, small, but clean and warm. You could work here, start as a hostess, learn the business. In exchange, you'd have a place to live and a steady income. Sarah stared at him, certain she had misheard. You don't know anything about me. I could be, dangerous, a drug addict, a thief. David shook his head. Someone who steals doesn't ask permission first. Someone without character doesn't maintain their dignity while asking for help. And someone who was truly hopeless wouldn't still have that spark of determination I see in your eyes. But why? The question burst out of her. Why would you help a complete stranger? David was quiet for a moment. Maybe because seeing you reminds me that Emma's death doesn't have to be meaningless if I can prevent someone else's life from being wasted. Maybe because 23 years of success means nothing if I can't use it to make a difference. Or maybe, he smiled sadly, because I believe Emma would want me to help you. Sarah felt something break open inside her chest. A door she had kept sealed shut for months, hope, dangerous and terrifying, began to seep through the cracks. She thought of her mother, who had raised her to believe in the fundamental goodness of people despite evidence to the contrary. I don't know how to thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet. David said, this isn't charity. You work hard, learn fast, and prove that my instinct about you is right. Can you do that? Sarah straightened her shoulders, feeling something she hadn't experienced in months. Purpose. Yes, sir, I can do that. As David led her toward the restaurant's entrance, Sarah realized that sometimes miracles didn't announce themselves with fanfare. Sometimes they arrived quietly, in the form of unexpected kindness from a stranger who saw worth in you when you had forgotten it yourself. She didn't know what the future held, but for the first time in months, she believed it might hold something good. Behind them, the rain began to let up, and through the breaking clouds, the first stars of evening appeared.